Kia ora. Welcome to Monday the 9th of October 2022. Really brisk out this morning. Brisk Tennessee weather. I didn't get a chance to post yesterday's ramble up. I'm sorry. We're still getting used to boondocking, I guess is one way of putting it. But excuse me a second, I'm just gonna grab this rock. Some fairly large chunks of rock. It came with part of the driveway, and we're just moving these to the periphery so they get out of the way. Still getting used to, as I mentioned yesterday, selfie stick and landscape mode and all those wonderful things. So getting close to the road, and people driving down the road probably go, oh, what the hell's going on there? But anyway, whatever. So new ramble format, or slightly revised ramble format. I mentioned in yesterday's ramble that will probably be going up at the same time as this one, so if you don't catch them in sequence, then this may not make a lot of sense. And I wanted to kind of talk about a few things that are going on that are peripheral to, the homesteading, I guess, that we're actually doing. And the obvious worm cannon is the geopolitical things that are really happening in the world, and the impact or potential impact on everybody, really. Russia, and depending on your point of view, invaded. We're forced to invade. I'm not going to go into that from my opinion on that at this time. I have very clear opinions, but let's just leave it at that for this exercise. The areas of Ukraine that were previously part of the greater Soviet Union, the four oblasts that were have recently been quote unquote liberated, and have gone through the referendums and have decided that they want to become part of Russia again over the last few months. And that one's one of the big elephants in the room. A lot of people are really probably over it now, because the mainstream media has blown it all and confiscated it. To a point where it's like a lot of things, you just suffer from information overload, and then you just tune it out. And there was a period there when it started where everyone was like, rah, 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 Ukrainian flags everywhere, and so on and so forth. And those streams are still appearing on mainstream media, for those that actually want to bother watching it. I do. I like to know what's happening on as many sides of the fence as I can, because that's just me. And if you think there's only two sides to the fence, then that's a debate for another day. But anyway, let's just take this one thing and just apply this to my line of morning ramble. And as I said in yesterday's ramble, don't read too much into this. This is not, me eschewing personally one particular view on politics or degrees of liberalism or otherwise, conservatism or otherwise. My general overarching mantra is try not to be a dick. And really that's pretty much about it. I do not personally always succeed at that, but that's okay. You can call me out on that, and I'm okay with that, as long as you're polite about it. Anyway, so this particular geopolitical marker, what does it really mean in terms of our life and lifestyles? Well, for the large part, it's escalating pretty quickly. There's a lot of stuff going on that is not in the mainstream media. Most recently, the other day, was the truck explosion on the Kerch Bridge, connecting Ukraine with Crimea. It took out one of the car lanes there and set some rail cars on fire and damaged the rail lines. Varying reports on that. The Russians, of course, actually have dedicated engineers as part of their military that are trained to go into combat situations or extreme situations like this and effect emergency repairs and eventually long-term repairs, and allow them to kind of continue pushing rail cars across and so on and so forth. Some reports say that there was lots of white metal and stuff flying around all over the place, which indicates perhaps some white phosphorus or something in the explosion. Some reports say that it wasn't anything to do with Ukrainian terrorism. Some reports say that the Ukrainians basically planned this because they already had some stamps prepared, ready to go, going woohoo, we blew up the bridge. I don't know. Because a lot of this stuff is obfuscation again, or smoke and mirrors. It's intended to kind of, he said, she said, they said, we said, it said. Who knows? Who really knows? But the point of the matter is it happened, and whether it was an intentional or accidental, because that was another sideline, event that just happened to, coincide with fuel cars and stuff basically getting pulled by trains. The end result is that the bridge was damaged, and it was a smack in the face to Russia. So that's just one event. There are numerous others. That one did make the mainstream media, but there are numerous others going on as well on a daily basis that are really not reported by mainstream media, or if they are, they will definitely get a skew towards them. So where does this lead to for my morning ramble? It means that our homesteading plans, where we would ideally like to take our property, develop it over a longer period of time, because we have a lot of woods here, which means putting in forests and generating clearings with undergrowth for livestock to feed on, and fencing for livestock, and all of those things that go into a good homestead from the perspective of making your resilience or self-sufficiency is the correct word, ratio or level a lot higher, because it's very difficult to be completely self-sufficient. I mean, unless you know how to build cars and engines and have all the parts and you can craft them all, or anyway, that's a long tirade. Basically, the goal for self-sufficiency is to just become more increasingly self-sufficient to whatever level you require. We're not kind of back in medieval ages yet. We were growing turnips in fields and eking out a living, though from what I gather they actually live pretty well. But anyway, the point here is going from effectively a farming homesteading style and starting to adopt, and I hate this P word with a passion, a more prepper mentality. And I hate it because of the connotations that go with it in terms of, you're some kind of military-minded, paramilitary-minded individuals, and you got zillions of boxes of dried goods and all that kind of stuff going on, and it's just like, no, we're not really that way inclined at all. Preparedness is, and again, just my opinion, preparedness is looking beyond what's in front of your vision in a 180-degree angle, if you like, and looking towards the things that you cannot directly control and trying to make plans as best as you can to at least mitigate some or all of the possibilities of those events. That makes sense. Because again, you can try and prepare for every situation. Are you going to prepare for somebody dropping nukes? Are you going to prepare for land-based invasions? Are you going to prepare for, hopefully never, some kind of civil war, massive government crackdowns, a virus outbreak, all these sorts of things. And I don't know, perhaps people are actually less, particularly after the whole COVID lockdown thing, people are actually a little more, I really probably should have actually put more toilet paper away. I'm just kidding. But basically done a little more supplies. Because I know that because of my interests, I could see what was happening well before all the lockdown started, and Dawn and I were in Costco basically bolstering up our reserves because we didn't have enough for what we felt was going to happen. And it was kind of weird wandering through Costco with multiple carts filled with, bulk foods of various types that were going to get taken away and apportioned and blah, 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 blah. While people are around kind of, buying televisions and chicken from the deli and just normal life stuff. I'm pretty sure that we got some funny looks. But maybe those same people now are going like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should have done that instead. Maybe I shouldn't have bought that huge 65-inch television and bought, some rice and beans or whatever. I'm just kidding with the rice and beans. It's a great inside joke. But anyway, I am rambling, but I'm sorry. This new format is going to take a bit of getting used to. But hopefully this is a little more interesting than the usual. Oh, look at my pretty garden. Or oh, look at the overgrown weeds. The nature of our homestead basically has to change. I do not know what degree that change needs to reach. The whole thing with politics and geopolitics is that, you can watch all the markers and listen to all the death and gloom mongers and watch your mainstream media channels and go, oh, well, everything's fine. Or, oh, golly gosh, that person's a horrible person or whatever. And draw your conclusions based on what you're being spoon-fed. Or you can take a bit of a leap of faith and suggest that you are masters and mistresses of your own destinies, and that you really should take this opportunity to start planning, preparing, and at least doing something now, if you haven't already. We certainly have. There was an element to that for what we were doing with our homestead in Ohio, not to as great a degree as others in our community here, or other friends around the place as well. We also know that we are blessed with a general community here that are able to live on less, I guess, is a good way of putting it, and comfortable to trust and work with those in the local community on the basis that problems shared are problems reduced, and hopefully that would extend to, you know, some sort of large event. Though I hope we never get to that point. But honestly, we're about as close as we have ever been at this time, and it doesn't look like the stupid is stopping anytime soon. Anyway, I'm going to stop the ramble here at that, because I've got to go and dial in for work and get some coffee into me, the drug of choice. So hopefully you found that interesting. If you did, please post some comments up. Let us know what your views and opinions are. Be savvy about it. We post this stuff up on YouTube at the moment. We'll probably drop it up on other format like Odyssey and Ramble and stuff. There are algorithms in play. You know, I'm not that kind of person that goes around sharing disinformation and misinformation, and I hate those words anyway. We're all grown-ups. You can make your own opinions. This channel is my opinion, and if you don't like it, then, you know, plenty of other stuff to go and watch. But I'm going to try and hopefully make things a little interesting and maybe posit some points of view that you might be thinking about, but maybe there's a few little gems in there that you can pick up and run with. And we'll definitely be sharing, not all, because you know, some stuff should be kept secret. But as we do our homesteading and kind of build this place out over time, then assuming we have enough time to do what we want to do, then, you know, certainly we will add in some extra bits and pieces to show you some of the stuff that we're learning, because we're learning. All right, you all have a great day. Kia ora, take care, chat again tomorrow.